Yeah, thank you very much, Sarah. Thank you for the introduction and for hosting the event. Very amazing. I'm very happy to be here and that we have a 3-day event. Like I said, so Sarah, she came with that idea to me, and I'm very grateful because this never happened before that I did a 3-day one in a row, except for in-person retreats. And it's really cool because we were moving through a process, right? So the energy started to come in already this morning. So my morning, that was like 12 hours ago, maybe you felt them. And this is because we set the intention, okay, we're going to meet for these 3 days. There is going to be some transformational work happening, and the energies, they basically know that. So the ones I'm working with, and then they already prepare us. So maybe you felt them coming in, felt stuff surfacing or whatever. They do all sorts of different things for us, for our spiritual transformation and evolvement. And just to briefly share where the aim of my work is. So it's basically, on the one hand, for the human level, and then moving towards our true nature, which is the absolute, the Brahman. This is what we are beyond creation. So these are the two areas basically where the energies are supporting us and where I'm working. So first of all, that the human system starts transforming over time, right? When we do this kind of work, when we meditate and have a spiritual practice and work with spiritual transmissions, certain things are changing in our system. I'm going to touch on that a little bit later in more detail. And the human experience starts to change. So how we experience ourselves, how we experience the world in comparison to that. And this is like an ongoing process, and it changes over time. And basically the side effect is that the human experience becomes more enjoyable, because when we heal and clear our system, when we open and expand the system, more light can come in, more of our personal highest truth can come forward. Also our highest potential can then come in. And in general, when the system is more cleared, it becomes more, how do we say it? Everything becomes, so I'm looking for the English word, easier, because there's just less going on, lighter. Yeah. And then, so this is part of this process. And then the aim is always to become who we truly are beyond this human life experience, and also beyond what's there in creation. So moving towards creation. Okay, so that's the overview. And what I want to talk about today is moving through this transformational process. Quite a few things are changing in our human system and energy field. So body and energy field. So when I talk about the system is the body and energy field, we have a lot of mechanisms that are in place. Let's say a normal human who has like a not really an open system and is not spiritually awake or not really on the path either, just an average human. Their system is usually kind of more contracted, and all these mechanisms, what I talk about, are still in place. And by doing this work, they start to open up or dissolve. So the first, and this is like the, let's say one that might be a bit new for a lot of systems and a bit uncomfortable, is a mechanism where we push down everything we don't want to feel, we don't want to experience, we have experienced in the past, and we don't want to have anything to do with that. So usually humans can do that, right? So they push everything away and they connect with whatever they want to connect, but they don't want to look at what is there as well. So this is like the denial of what's there as well. And often they just don't know, it can be on a subconscious level and also consciously, but pushed away. And this starts opening up so that we are able, and this is amazing, of course, for the healing and clearing work, because then, so this starts opening up, and because then things can start moving out of our system. And that's the most important part. What is moving out of our system? Low vibrational stuck energies, I call them like that. They're energies from the past that haven't been processed fully. And so they stay there and they lower our vibration, and they can be triggered up though, So you've probably experienced this. Something happened on the outside and it triggered something very uncomfortable within our system. So these are these low vibrational stuck energies. And so when this mechanism opens up, that means this thing can move out and move through our system very quickly, if the system is more open and expanded as well. And so the healing can happen a lot faster. Then also what happens around that time or with that is that we start recognizing more of like the human. So we observe the human from the background. We look at, okay, what energies are there, what information is there, what's surfacing, how are we reacting, what are we believing, is this really true? So this also starts, with this process that we become aware of what's operating here and what we are is actually something else. Then also there is a mechanism in our system that creates a past and a future. And this is so important, and I talk about it quite a bit because everything is only happening in the present moment. And also there is not even really a present moment, there's just this one ongoing moment. But so that we can talk about it, we talk about the present moment. And this is so fascinating to me because there is a mechanism in our system that creates a past and a future. So that means we can tap into past experiences, we can fully relive them, we can bring them into our present moment. Same with the future. We take the stuff from the past and project it into the future. And so it seems like we can predict the future. So this is very normal for a human system. But this is, let's say, it's not the highest truth. It's a mechanism we don't need. It just takes us away from the present moment where all the energy is, where all our power is, where we can focus on where our focus is and where we can actually act on things. So past and future starts falling away. Then also the ego. For most people, the ego is in the forefront and it's in charge of decisions and how we act or interact with life. And the ego starts moving into the background. So there are energies that feed the ego, the energies, they feed the ego all day long. And this is why it's so strong and it's in the forefront. And the energies, they help to withdraw or dissolve the energies that feed the ego so that it starts moving into the background. So for some people, it can be a sudden experience, like in my case. And for other people, it's like a slowly dissolving. So the ego starts moving into the background and suddenly something else is in charge. Then also, for example, who we think we are, like all our life story, everything we accumulated, all the information we accumulated through our life experience is like stored as a bubble of information in the center of our chest. And this starts dissolving so that we less and less are identified with the person and the life story. And eventually this just fully falls away. And that's so cool because this is also freeing, This is all freeing us up from the limitations, and then we can become more of who we are. We can expand more into what is already there because the true nature, it's already there for everybody. The oneness is also, so this would be in creation, is also there for everybody at the same time. But because of certain limitations, we can't experience it yet. And then because we talk about oneness, there is this energetical limitation around our system. So it's like that, and this keeps us into the experience of being separate, a separate individual in this life. And it's very interesting. Again, it's just the energetical mechanism that it's in place. And when this mechanism falls away, we're suddenly one with everything. So it's just the energetical structure. And this is, when we talk about, so in that case, oneness or unity consciousness, being one with everything, being consciousness. Yes, it's one thing to recognize this on the level of the mind, but it's not enough. The whole system has to follow, like we have to be that. And this is really what my work is about and what the energies are doing. They help with this integration process because this is what's important. So this would be a few mechanisms. I look if there are any other that are important right now. Yeah, and then also the I thought would be another important one. We can already, experience the oneness and the ego can be in the background, but there can still be, this is also a separate mechanism in our system, we take everything personal. So everything that arises in the outside reality, everything that surfaces is about us. So we still take it personal. And when the I thought starts dissolving. So it's I always see it in the heart. This is where these energies are stored. Then suddenly everything is just happening and we witness it, or we are experiencing, okay, everything is happening. So it's not about us. So life is happening and we are also here to experience life. And then when all these mechanisms start falling away or are gone, this is such a big relief. What else happens? The system opens up more. So when I talk about the system opens up, I mean life energy flows from the root to the crown chakra. This is where the central energy channel is. And the more energies are being cleared out of the system, the more this channel opens up, the more of our life energy can flow. Also, for example, stuck energies that are in our system, the ego, the identification with the small self and everything takes up life energy. And so when everything starts dissolving, we have more life energy available in the present moment. And that's very amazing. And even then also there is less to do and we have more energy. So we suddenly have energy for being creative and following what we actually enjoy and what's important to us versus being in like the survival mode. Okay. Then I look if there's anything else important. No, I think that's it for now. So this was the information I needed to share. The energies are coming in very strongly. Maybe you can feel that. So let's start with the session. I'm gonna do. So I already got the information beforehand what to do, at least for the beginning of the session. I'm gonna do system adjustments, activations, so that our system can be more open, more expanded, that we can embody. So the embodiment part of already our like level of consciousness and vibration, that we can embody this better because the system is open enough and receptive to bring this through. Yeah. And then we'll see what happens, what else happens. So great. Let's start. What you can do is sit back, relax, meditate along. You don't need to do anything else. Just be in an open and receptive state. Allow the energies to work and be very comfortable, because the more comfortable you are, the easier it is for the energies to work on your system. Yeah. Okay. I don't need to do anything today because it's already recording. And yeah, great. All right. Should we mute everybody as well? I'm just going to do that. Just that there are no, I'm doing it already, Sarah. Just that there are no background noises if somebody unmutes accidentally. Okay, great. I'm going to have a sip of water. So, and after the healing, which will be about 50, 60 minutes, there is enough time. You can ask questions, you can share your experience. Yeah, so we can chat a little bit. Okay, then let's start. In the beginning, I always need like 1 or 2 minutes to set up the session energetically. Then I start sharing. I start with opening up the energy field. Bring in light. Then I expand the energy field. Expanding the energy field helps to hold more light in the system, and also more awareness comes with that as well. So I'm expanding. The energy field can always be more expanded. We can always carry more light. Light is higher information, and this information is transforming our system and also our life experience. This is exactly what we want. Then I fill up the expanded space with light. Then I clear surface energies. Surface energies are the energies that are on the surface level of our system, and these are the main experience of us right now, right? So thoughts, emotions, and other energies that are present, they create our experience because this is where we put our attention. This is naturally happening because they are movement. So always when energies in our system are there, they're moving, and this is where our attention goes. And like I said before, the less energies are in our system, the less movement is there. That's very natural. So that there is just less going on. And what's behind the movement? There is the silence, the stillness, the clarity, the peace. So that's always there. And if we don't experience it, it just means that there are surface energies in the forefront. And also, the more open and expanded our system gets, and the more we realize who we truly are. So either from the witnessing perspective, observer perspective, the more we can see, okay, these are just energies moving in our system. I'm not those energies. Okay, then I also clear thoughts out of the mind. Thoughts are just energy stuck on the level of the mind, and if there is a lot of energy there, thoughts are being created. This is a natural process. So again, when the system becomes clearer, is more cleared and more open, then energy flows through our system, also flows through the level of the mind, but then moves out again. So if thoughts are created, they're only there for a second, sometimes a split second. And if we don't grab them, they just leave. And so I clear those stuck energies on the level of the mind so that the mind can calm down, that there are less thoughts and more light can enter the level of the mind. So in general, there is so much light entering our system. So the light comes in through the crown chakra, third eye chakra, and other chakras, but these are the main ones, and it's filling up the body, the energy body, and the area around us. So the body is relaxing more because the body really enjoys when there is no or less movement and when there is a lot of light. And to support the relaxation, you can take a deep breath. So the more you relax, the easier for the energies to work on your system. And also, it's easier to drop into deeper states of meditation. I open up the energy field more. Bring in even more light. So always when I open up the energy field more, the light can flow into deeper layers. And what you can do is just observe the body, maybe you feel the energies working in certain areas, or you feel pressure somewhere or contraction, just observe it. If there are thoughts, it's absolutely fine. Allow them to come and go, and just be very relaxed. Then I open up the energy field more. Bring in more light. So everybody has like their little cocoon of light where our system is covered by it, or we are in it. So we're held in this beautiful space. Then I open up the chakras. Crown chakra first, third eye chakra, throat chakra, heart chakra, solar plexus, sacral chakra, and root chakra. Then I open up the central energy channel. This is where life energy flows through our system. So the central energy channel, is located in the center of our system. So from the root to the crown chakra. And what we want is, we want to have as much life energy flowing through our system as possible, because the more life energy flows, the more it is clearing and expanding, opening up the system by itself. So we have to, or we can work towards it, to work towards a certain point until the system basically starts doing this process by itself. Of course, we then can continue on, supporting this process, but that's very amazing. So eventually the process happens by itself. And I see this mainly when there is more life energy flowing. Because this energy, is healing and clearing the system, opening and up and expanding the system. And more. Yeah, and this mechanism I talked about before, that creates past and future, is just a mechanism. And how I see it, it is outdated. We don't need it anymore. And so I remove and dissolve this mechanism right now. This means all your energy comes into the present moment. And you can double check, you can try to move into the past, you can try to move into the future with your attention. Doesn't work anymore. And maybe you feel how naturally your system expands because of that. More light flows in. So this is always the feedback. When certain mechanisms are being dissolved or whatever, we dissolve certain things. It's always the same feedback for the system. More expansion, meaning less limitations, more light. Then I work on dissolving the ego structure that's in the forefront. And maybe it feels a bit uncomfortable or unfamiliar. That's absolutely fine. Just relax. So I pulled the ego structure into the background. I just clear for a few systems. There is a little, like I said before, it feels a little unfamiliar, uncertainty. So I clear those energies. Then the ball of light I was talking about before, the ball of information that's in the center of our chest, contains the life story. Like, for example, all the identification with, like today, today you look back, oh yeah, as a child, this happened and then that happened and you had these experiences. And yes, you did, but you're totally different now. And it's very important that we heal whatever needs healing from that time, yes, and then let this go. Stop identifying. Because this takes away a lot from us, a lot of life energy. It keeps us in a low vibration. And it's not just negative things. Usually everybody we were being conditioned. We're limited from first we're children, of course, and then throughout our lifetime. This is just normal, right? But it's very important to let this all go and be here and now and work with what you have here and now and let go of the limitations, because they also limit you here and now, even though they came in, like, let's say 10, 20, 30 years ago. You've probably heard this saying that every moment is fresh. And this is really how it is. And if we don't experience this yet, it just means there are still certain structures in place that keep us from experiencing every moment as fresh. So every moment, how we experience ourselves and also this life or the world, this 3D reality. Okay, maybe you experience an expansion in the center of the chest now. There's a lot more light. And what you can do is just relax. Allow this process to unfold. Then I work on the pineal gland. I clear it. and then activate it. Then there is another gland, I always forget the name. It's more towards the forehead, but at a similar height than the pineal gland. So also clear it. Then activate it. Then there is a point in the back, so it's on the back side of our system, our body, where the spine enters the skull. This is often an area where blockages are, just energy gets stuck there. So I clear this pathway. Also activate it. Moving down the spine to the back of the heart chakra, or between the shoulder plates, in that kind of area. There is also often a blockage for people. So I clear it. Then activate it, just meaning supporting the flow of energy there. Then just moving up a little bit, there's another point. It's where the shoulders, or what's the word? Where the neck basically comes out of the rest of the body, so that area. I have no idea what this is called, but there is also a point where I see for some people here there are energy gets stuck there. There's a tight passage. Okay, then the central energy channel I was working on before, I support the flow of life energy from the root to the crown chakra. Okay, going back to that point where I was before this one, where the neck comes out of the corpus, the body, there's just a little bit more support needed. Then bottom part of the spine. I clear it and put energy into it. Then this was shown to me in many sessions, that there is some sort of information in our spine that is, let's say, outdated, or we don't, or it doesn't help if it's there, if we want to, evolve spiritually. So I've removed the old information and add new information, and it was just shown to me as crystalline spine. Okay, so maybe you feel the difference. It's actually crazy how different it feels. Yeah. Then I work on the brain. I put healing energies into the brain. So we don't use all parts of our brains in the exact same way. And certain parts are not being used. And what the energies are doing is they, let's say, activate all parts, and they also support the energy flow throughout the whole brain. So when we only use smaller parts of our brains, that means energy is there in these parts, but there is no flow. And this brain healing basically supports the flow and also activation of other parts of the brain that we can use. Also very important, there is a clearing happening of like metal and chemicals and stuff like that, that is blocking this free flow. So of course, energetically, it's happening energetically, meaning the body can then follow the clearing on the physical level. Maybe you experience the differences totally different again. So, by the way, just for people who don't feel anything I'm sharing, just know it is happening. It just means your system or is not perceiving it in the way as I do, how I share it, but it is happening. Then I work on the nervous system. And the nervous system is responsible, for example, for parts of it, so that we can actually start perceiving energies. So it's a very important part in that. And also, when we expand on a level of consciousness, it's responsible and or partially responsible that we can hold high levels of consciousness open, or that they stay open. And so I'm activating the nervous system and also put healing energies into it. Then I work on all the chakras. I start with the crown chakra. I put healing energies into it. Then third eye chakra. So the healing energies are clearing the chakras, clearing low vibration energies, clearing stuck energies and blockages out of the chakras. Also, I see the chakras as a representation of energies that are stuck in our system, but they can be everywhere really. But working with the chakras also can clear those, even though they are, let's say, stored in a total different area of the system. Throat chakra. Then heart chakra. I see a lot of energies are being cleared. That are energies that we identified with. So where we feel that life was just sharing a few, they're being cleared anyways. Life wasn't treating us well. We feel like a victim. I am a victim of life. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I don't love myself, and so forth. So there are just a lot of these core energies are being cleared. And also there are a lot of stories on top. Okay, these are just more core energies. So the stories don't really matter. It's really about the core energies. So then the stories can fall away as well. And their energies are coming in for right now for the humans. We have certain energies in our human system that need certain energies so that they can basically dissolve. So if there's a lack of safety, if the energy of safe, like feeling safe or being safe or safety comes in, then this energy lack of safety can dissolve. So it's just another way of clearing. And right now there are a few energies coming, like being safe, feeling safe, being supported in everything we do, because we are anyways, but this is just what the human system needs right now. That these energies can dissolve, and then behind there is basically the knowing, oh yeah, we are always supported. Then feeling loved exactly for who we are, who we became in this life, for what we do. Then trusting life's life. Because basically the goal is to fully surrender to life. And this is a full surrender to who we truly are as well. And because of certain experiences in this life is not fully possible. And so trust comes in. And the heaviness that's there, the heaviness, just different low vibrational energies, is being met with lightness and joy. We take life and our life experience because of identification. This is just how it is, but we take it too serious. But if met with joy and lightness, the experience changes completely. Then I move down to the sacral chakra, third chakra first, sorry. Now second chakra. And now first chakra. Then I work on clearing or dissolving the mechanism that creates the I thought. Like I said before, it's located in the heart chakra or in that area. This also leads to the result that there are less thoughts, because this is something naturally it does when the I thought surfaces or moves up into the brain. Thoughts are being created around me, the I, which are very annoying. And then I remove the boundaries between the small self and the self with capital S, or oneness, unity. So that we can merge into oneness. Just relax into it. So let's sit with everything we have done up until now, opened up, expanded, activated, and so forth, for the next 8-9 minutes in silence, so that you can experience it more fully, that you can integrate. Yeah, enjoy. Okay, we are finished. Yeah, thank you so much. This was a very great session, a very great start for this 3-day event to basically open it up and expand the system and activate certain areas so that we can then go from there tomorrow. In general, I recommend doing this meditation multiple times because everything what was done energetically, it is like it was fully done throughout for this whole session. And then also always depending on where you are on your journey, certain things they just stay like that and certain things they can come back again, but never as strong as before. And the more often you do the video, the let's say the more can dissolve, the more can be activated and fall away and so forth. So yeah. Yeah, if you have a question, please let me know. You can raise your hand or if you want to share your experience. Hi, Martin. You need to unmute yourself. Yeah.
So now, hi Eva. It was great, powerful. The energy was almost too strong for me. It didn't feel pleasant, so it at the border to unpleasant. But my question is some others. So in the beginning, you told then you want people to bring to their true nature, and after that in Brahman consciousness, right? So I have a friend, she's currently at Brahman, and she recommended me never to do it. So I hope I never will get there. So
Yeah, I mean, it usually takes quite some work to get there. So, but yeah, I mean, the experience of Brahman is very different. And how do you say this? Like the whole humanness is gone in Brahman. And this is just very different from, having a human experience all the time. So first of all, the change in experience is so drastic, and this was probably the biggest shift I had in my whole awakening, and then stayed there for me was about 3 months, but it was the most important one. So, and you can ask her or you can let her know. I have a video on my YouTube channel. It's called "Are You Stuck in Brahman?" I recommend her to watch this one because basically I came back myself. So I wanted to, like, I had enough from this experience, and then I decided, okay, it's enough. I want to come back. And then I did, at least slowly though, but it happened. So yeah, maybe you want to share that video with her. She finds it on
yeah,
my
I
YouTube
do.
channel. Yeah.
Thank you.
But it's, you know what? It's just part of this journey, and like I said, it's the most important one to actually see that this whole creation is just our own creation. Like it's all like we're dreaming into this. It's all just being created in front of our eyes when we look at it. Otherwise, it falls away. And until you experience it, it's just a mental concept. And when you are actually experiencing that, and when you are there, seeing that this is how it works, then this can never be undone versus a concept for the mind. So this is why it's so important to experience everything. And there's after that as well, like there is after Brahman, Par Brahman, then pure divinity. It's not like a state, but it's just divine energy comes then into the system. And then there is even like a further process where more of this, like more integration happens again. So you bring all of this back into the human experience, embodying it, and the human experience becomes again very, let's say, the main experience, and it becomes the main experience again, but very different. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Martin. Hi. I hope I pronounced the name right. Cyprian. Yeah. Hello.
Hi, Cyprian. Thank
Cyprian.
you. That was lovely. If it's really intense, might one fall asleep?
So it sometimes happens that people like fall into a very deep meditation. But there is a difference between falling asleep and falling into a deep meditation. So when you fall into a deep meditation, your awareness even can like be gone, like you can fully be gone. But then when I basically say, that's it, or what do I always say in the end? Um, I don't know what I say in the end, and then you come back, and then you're just fully there again. Then we went into samadhi versus you actually fell asleep, and then either you don't even wake up or you're like groggy, or that's a total difference. And this is what the energies are doing. So this is basically the Brahman part or the true nature part. They pull you into samadhi because samadhi is when you are pulled into your true nature. So your consciousness, or you are pulled into your true nature, and then you're there, you lose awareness. And then you come back after meditation, right? And you go back and forth multiple times until like the Brahman just stays. And so this is definitely this is always there, like in all my meditations, no matter what the content is of the healing and so forth, this is always there, yeah, as well. And so often when we have a meditation on Thursday, it's a free meditation where we always meditate with a bigger group. And I always see like so many people are just in samadhi, this is what happens. So that's fine. But if you would fall asleep, I recommend sitting. Yeah, not lying, for example, if you were. Thank you. Hi, Bill.
Hi, Eva.
Hello.
This, I love just surrendering and being totally open, and receiving what the energy, and how you're able to just work with it. And something that was really cool that I wanted to comment on that I'd never heard before is when you talked about the backbone and crystalline backbone.
Oh, yeah.
And that was just that was a great experience to have, because it's like it was almost like the backbone is like you got to have backbone in this life. You have to it's almost like it's almost like my identity of my small self is located in some way in my backbone, and it's really solid, and that's what I am. I'm really solid, and so it was really cool to have that experience of the crystalline and having the light come in there, and it was just really an experience. So thank you for that.
Yeah, amazing. Yes, I mean, this is also exactly what you said. This is what I shared, that there's old information in it, right? In the normal spine. So also one information would be like you just said, we have to be like courage, or like this, exactly what you just mentioned. Sorry. And the new one is very different. It's soft, it sees through. So crystalline is soft, it sees through. It creates expansion. It has higher information in it, and this information. So I did it once, and that's enough. So it does. I can always redo it, but to do it one time is enough. So the new information moves into the spine, and then it starts influencing the whole system and the transformational process. So that's really cool. Yeah, and it's like a upgraded version of ourselves. Yeah,
Oh,
it's there. Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah. The other
Yeah.
thing was um, I haven't watched that video you're talking about. Are you stuck in Brahman? But I feel like I was for quite a while. My journey, my spiritual journey. I was trying to get to heaven. I just wanted to be in heaven. But now I feel like it's more about bringing. I had this realization. It's really now it's about embodying that. So living in both. I mean, bringing the Brahman and Sahaj, I guess I think that's one word, Sahaj Samadhi, where you're in Samadhi, but you're still fully in this world too, bringing the energy of that. Thank you about that.
Yeah. So the word heaven on earth has come up over the last week so many times for me. I don't know why, and you kind of mentioned it now as well. And this is really how it is. Bringing heaven on earth has to do with the system change, the high level of consciousness, and then embodying this. And then for me, it's not like you're both, you say in both areas at one time. So this would be the para Brahman. So you bring in the Brahman you start embodying it. But then this is still like two kind, let's say it's not two experiences, but then even it merges even more. So it becomes like one experience, and there is nothing else anymore. So before there is like this the Brahman coming in. There is still like the Brahman coming into the human, but then it's suddenly there. It just merges, and then again, it's a totally different experience. You just have it here, and that's it. Yeah. And the Sahaja Samadhi, so how I understand it, and this came in for me in the end of my unity consciousness phase. And this was when I was meditating, and then I got up from meditation and I stayed exactly the same. So my experience of myself was exactly the same. So it didn't really matter if I meditate or not. There was no changes
Right.
anymore. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's exactly the same. And then you can still, of course, meditate, do spiritual practices for, for transformational reasons. But on the level of meditation and consciousness, nothing changes anymore. Yeah, it stays exactly the same. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Thank
fascinating,
you.
isn't it?
Thank you.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Bill. Thank you for your questions. Yeah, anybody else? Hi, Deborah.
Hi, Eva.
Hello.
It was interesting. I felt a lot of pressure on my fingers. I don't know. Yeah, pretty much like throughout. But I had a question. I was interested, like, to what extent do you think the energies could be blocked or not as much light come in by things like, say, caffeine?
Um, okay, so this is interesting. So moving throughout the process of awakening, my personal experience is that I had to let go of certain foods over time. Because I felt they were influencing, but I actually felt it. It wasn't just, oh, I should leave coffee away, but it's actually, for example, specifically coffee. I had to stop drinking coffee because when I have it, and I still can't have it except for decaf, I feel like I'm gonna faint in a minute. It's really very intense, and I used to drink a lot of coffee, and this basically happened. So I had to stop having it. For example, sugar. I mean, I'm still having sugar because I have a sweet tooth, but when I do this kind of work, I try not to have any sugar during the day because I just feel not as clear. This is just really how it is. Then there was a time where I was strictly vegan. Just felt I had to do that. Yeah, but what I recommend is really listening to what's coming up for you. So if coffee comes up for you, like you can't have it anymore, you feel not good when you have it, then leave it out, right? But if you like, if your coffee, if your body is very well digesting the coffee or very well responding to the coffee, then you can totally have it. So to me, my personal opinion is if something comes up for somebody individual, it's your theme, it's what you need right now, then follow it. But if it doesn't come up for you and it's just a general rule, no. So I'm always for like the individual gets the information. It's an individual process. Everybody's different. And so, yeah, I encourage that, feeling what's right for me or not.
What did you feel exactly? Like what you were saying, like with the coffee, like you're feeling, I'm
Yeah,
just trying to sort of understand.
I felt like my consciousness was pulled out of my body, and I felt like the body's gonna drop in a second. It felt very weird. Like I feel very uncomfortable in the body. There is nervousness, and then I haven't had coffee for like 2, 3 years, and then accidentally, I had a coffee and like a normal one, not decaf, and I felt like that again. And then I went for like I had to really do exercise to get rid of the caffeine. It took about 6 hours until I felt normal again. And so I really like don't want to have any coffee anymore because I really feel really bad. Like this is probably the worst from all of the things I can eat or drink. I mean, I don't drink alcohol, of course, and don't smoke. So, but yeah, I also like when I have a sip, just a sip of, for example, Prosecco, when we have a birthday celebration, I feel it right away. I feel how it influences the whole body and I don't like it. So in general, I don't like anything that's really influencing me in a negative way anymore. but also because, of course, there is this openness. I'm extremely sensitive. And for other people, you know, they are not sensitive. They move through this whole process. I know people who moved through this whole process, and they were also like having alcohol every now and then and not really changing their diet. So it's also possible. And this is why I say everybody needs to listen to themselves, like to the information that comes in for you. Yeah.
And what about, like, say, Bluetooth? I mean, or some people say, oh no, sort of Bluetooth has an effect. Um, do you sort of do you agree, or do you think, no, again, it's individual and you have to sort of assess yourself? Or
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, you know, all like every frequencies are influencing us in a way. You know, this is obvious because we are energetic beings, and if there are frequencies and we're within, like we receive them, then there is definitely something happening. But I absolutely recommend not moving into fear. So if something triggers fear in the system, let this go. No, you know, there is going to be 5G, there is going to be a lot more frequencies than we have right now. And what I recommend is moving out of the fear, because we can't do anything about it anyways. You know, it's going to be in our surrounding. Of course, for example, we can do little things like I turn my internet off, the Wi-Fi during the night. Also, most of the time I have my phone on flight mode, just because if I don't use it, why do I need the frequency right there, right? But I don't do it out of fear, but just because it just makes sense to me. Yeah, and also what I'm seeing, so the more we do this work, the more we raise our vibration, the less this is influencing us. So that the more solid the system still is, the more the system is going to be influenced. And when the system becomes lighter and more light, it's less influenced anyway. So I would rather work on the fear and, you know, do what you can do. But yeah, for now, I think that's enough. I don't know what's going to come in the future, but for now, this is definitely enough. Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for your question. Thank you. Okay, we would have time for one more question or sharing. No, okay, great. Then I think we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for joining. We're going to meet again tomorrow. You'll see the energies continue on working. We are in this process now over those 3 days. So whatever is happening, just know it's happening because of our work here. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining, everybody, for being here, for asking these beautiful questions. And I'm looking forward to see you tomorrow. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Eva. Thank you, everyone. We'll be using the same Zoom link tomorrow, so you can save the same one we used today. And I'll be sending the recording of today, so you can rewatch it before tomorrow if you like. See you all tomorrow. Thank you so much.